Ladies and gentlemen, pay attention. This is your boy, the coach from the WWE. I would like to welcome you to the very first wrestling podcast in the world to take you on a weekly deep dive into classic matches along with legends of the squared circle. Enjoy the discussion. Enjoy the back and forth. There's so much to get into. Ladies and gentlemen, this is The Payoff.
Welcome to an all-new episode of The Payoff. I'm Tom, that's Jeff, and we have ourselves a six-pack challenge. Jeff, how the hell are you doing?
I'm feeling good about this one. Home of Ric Flair. We're going to Charlotte. Got a kind of a big card on this one. Big main event. Just kind of see what's happening going on with these different matches. Nothing over the top necessarily, but just really a stacked card. And just I'm excited to talk about this one just because of the players, if nothing else.
Yeah, the players in this match, the whole show has, a bunch of future and current Hall of Famers, and it's going to be a fun one to talk about. So I say we jump right into the build.
Oh, it's time for the build.
So like you said, we're in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Yes.
And Flair, he would have been in WCW at this time. I don't think this was the show. I think it was a Raw, but there was talk of Flair actually, while he was under contract in WCW, to be like in attendance at a WWE event. That, whenever he was out and in a lawsuit with Bischoff. And so I know there was some flirting, and I don't think it was this show. I think it was a Raw, but anyways, just made me think of that. So this is September 26th, 1999. We're on the back end of the Attitude Era, but the product is still red hot, selling out everywhere. Steve Austin is injured, so obviously presenting an opportunity for some other people to step up. And this show, this is a fun card. We start off Val Venus defeating Steve Blackman, D'Lo Brown winning the European Championship off Mark Henry. Jeff Jarrett is going to retain his Intercontinental Championship against China, as we're telling that story. The acolytes of Bradshaw and Farouk are going to defeat the Dudley Boys. Ivory is going to retain the Women's Championship in a hardcore match against Luna in 3 minutes. The New Age Outlaws are going to retain the Tag Team Championship against Edge and Christian. Oh, this was the Kennel and a Kennel from Hell. Yeah, we may need to watch that just for fun. Al Snow's going to retain his hardcore championship against the Big Boss Man in one of the worst matches in WWE history. Did we watch that?
Which one? The
Kennel from Hell.
No, we have not watched it.
Okay, maybe I must have just put it on one time just out of curiosity. It's horrible.
Yep.
We may want to watch that.
Well, I'll get it added to the list. Yeah.
Okay. Semi-main event, X-Pac is going to defeat Chris Jericho by DQ. Chris Jericho was being managed by Mr. Hughes at this point. And then our main event, we have Stone Cold as a special outside enforcer. We have a vacant WWF championship. We've got the Big Show, the British Bulldog, Triple H, Kane, Mankind, and The Rock. We are throwing everything at the kitchen sink here. I'm excited to cover this one. It sounds like it's going to be chaotic. I'm assuming the build to this was probably pretty thrown together and doesn't make a whole hell of a lot of sense. Mm-hmm. But we'll let you tell us. How do we get to this match?
Chaotic is the best way to put it. And so I'm just going to have this. So, of course, the big rivalry, this was actually coming out of SummerSlam. You have Mankind defeat Stone Cold and Triple H in a triple threat match for the title. They ended up losing it the next night. And so, again, this Unforgiven taking place the end of September. And so it was a very quick build on this one. Like these guys had been involved with some other stuff, but so it was mid-September. So actually, yeah, just to be specific on this. So September 26th was Unforgiven. On September 13th, we love a Linda McMahon involvement here. You had Linda announcing that The Rock, Kane, Mankind, Big Show, and Undertaker would compete in a 5-way to determine the number one contender for the title at Unforgiven. And so it was Midian and Viscera actually getting involved in this one, attacking Mankind. So that match was ruled a no contest. And so because of that, though, and this was just it's dumb as hell. This is when the referees went on strike. And so you had them not wanting to do matches or not getting involved. Like, who doesn't love a good storyline where the referees are getting involved and, not calling matches? Like that's exactly what you want from your wrestling. And so, went on strike. And so then all 5 guys were named contenders for the title, making it a 6-pack challenge, at Unforgiving. It was weird though, because it was one of those, 2 wrestlers would begin the match and then someone could be tagged in, like just dumb as hell. And so why would you do that? So that week SmackDown though, you had Vince. Again, who doesn't love a good Vince and Linda storyline? Vince beating Triple H for the WWF title. I'm just going to read this. With the help of his son Shane, who served as the special guest referee for the match. However, Vince vacated the title 4 days later on Raw and named Triple H as the 6th competitor in the 6-pack challenge for Unforgiven. So, you've got all 5 contenders. You've got the belt on Vince. This is almost a theme because hot-shotting the belt within 2 weeks or the same show, because we're going to talk about this a little bit next week as well too. And so now you've got it was Undertaker, Bulldog, Kane, Mankind, Rock. We'll get to Big Show, Kane, Mankind, Rock, Undertaker. We'll get to how the British Bulldog get into this one, but that's how Triple H got involved in this one. And so doing that. So then again, this was every episode of this. You actually had, again, and making no sense, just McMahon decided to place Triple H in a gauntlet series of matches against the other 5 competitors in the match. He would have to wrestle Big Show in a chokeslam challenge match, Kane in an Inferno match, Undertaker in a casket match, Mankind in a Boiler Room Brawl, and The Rock in a Brahma Bull rope match. And he failed to win. And if he failed to win 3 of the 5 matches, he would be out of the match. So again, a lot of the story at this, while we knew who the competitors were, Triple H was kind of getting the push on this one. And so, and kind of in doing that. And so it's just really unusual. Yeah, it was really you had Midian and Viscera getting involved in this one as well too. And so with the, the Undertaker spots in this one, but the Undertaker on this one and what happened with him, the British Bulldog was really a last minute replacement for the Undertaker in this one. He had walked out of the WWF. That's what they did, at least with the Triple H match and how they kind of set it up. But the reality was he needed surgery, groin injury, needed to get that taken care of so that he was just out on that one. And so, and then you had Stone Cold. So Bulldog, really, there's really no reason for him to be in this match other than they needed somebody to replace the Undertaker. And so, and then you get Stone Cold, like you said, hurt. And so he is the special outside enforcer on this one. So that's why if we kind of pop on commentary and you hear him or you just see him sitting there, that is why. So just really kind of crazy. It kind of started at SummerSlam and then just kind of built from there. And then you kind of add some people as you go. And can he stand the test of all these people? We get a little bit of that, and that's really it. It's just an unusual, hectic build is the best way to put it.
Yeah, I mean, how do you get to a 6-way without it being a little disjointed? And I don't know. I mean, I think it's good to mix it up a little bit.
Yeah,
I'd say we may have had more of these than we needed in previous eras. We don't get many of them anymore. Gosh, it feels like almost everything is one-on-one now for the most part. I mean, occasionally, but that's okay. And but the idea being is that we may have 6 or 7 matches on a PLE, but they all mean something. They've all been built up. They all have the hype video. There's a conflict between 2 people. And so anyways, All right, let's jump into this one. I'm excited to cover it. I don't think I'm going to be blown away by the quality of the match, but it'll be fun to talk about.
Yep.
We are Unforgiven 1999. We're at the 2 hour and 16 minute mark, season 2, episode 1. 2 hours, 16 minutes, Unforgiven 1999. Jeff, are you ready?
Let's do this.
All right. It's time for the payoff.
Ho! It's time for the payoff.
Meridian athlete. And the guy's a rattlesnake. Oh, look at this. Stone Cold Steve Austin. It's the man in charge.
There will never be a more universally loved performer than Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah. There's no way. All right, you got
so
go ahead.
Okay,
Yeah.
When Bulldog came back, he was wrestling in jeans, if you remember.
Yep.
Now he has his gear on here, which I expected him to be in jeans. He's got like the Bulldog gear on, and looks good. I'm curious how he looks, kind of physically and in terms of cardio and stuff, but he does have the Bulldog gear on, which is pretty cool because I thought he was going to wrestle in jeans. Okay, so they're tagging people in and out. Bulldog just tags in Triple H. I wanted to, Jeff, just cover Bulldog's return to the company during this era, because I remember being really excited about it, from a nostalgic standpoint. Bulldog comes out, he cuts this promo, he wants to win the world championship. I was like, man, like how cool would it be if the freaking British Bulldog, and he had never been world champion either, so there was that part of it too, and I wish we could have saw them tell that story. Again, I know that there were other issues and challenges that he was having, but he came out in jeans September of 1999, just previous to this show, with a remix of his music. So he's got kind of this like modern, more upbeat version of his traditional British Bulldog theme. He defeats the Big Boss Man for the hardcore title in his first match back on a SmackDown. He forfeits that title to Al Snow. Then we got the Al Snow Big Boss Man dog napping issue with Pepper that leads to the kennel in a cage. But yeah, I mean, we have the heel turn of the Bulldog turning on The Rock, and then we have this match, and I don't know, man. It's like what could have been, but I'm guessing that they just didn't see anything in him, and there were still some issues that were preventing him from them being able to trust him.
Mm-hmm. This is such a weird match setup too. Like you got the 4 guys in the corners, you're tagging in right now. It started with Bulldog and Rock, which is important for the aftermath. You've got Kane and Triple H going at it now. Like it just, feels weird.
Yeah, it doesn't. Here's what I think visually doesn't make sense. And Kane going to the top rope here. What doesn't make sense to me is, okay, these guys hate each other. They all want to win. Well, then why are they just standing around?
And why would you tag any of them in?
Yeah, right. It doesn't add up at all. So it really makes no sense. And that's how can this match be good when why is The Rock standing there right now? Doesn't The Rock want to, hit a pin and win the match? Yeah. Let's check in on the crowd real quick.
Be the WWF champion. That was a lifelong goal of Mick Foley's. He earned it. He got there.
I think they just look confused.
Yeah.
Well, and the other thing too is who do I cheer for? Well, do I have my guy? Do I have like one guy? Well, then that means the other 5 I'm not cheering for. It's just a weird dynamic.
Yeah, just kind of why everybody's got. It's interesting too. Going back to this era, you got Big Show with the earring and just wearing the trunks on this one. Kane is in the full kind of red monster gear, and doing that still with his mask as well too. Just unusual. Yeah, and it feels slow. Like, you can't, nobody's really got any kind of advantage at this point, because at this point, everybody's getting tagged in, or there's a spot for everybody so far. So nothing's really going on. Big Show tagging himself in.
Just
2-0 pop. Good job. I did find it like Big Show has his place in the history of WWE, but I found it funny. It was at the beginning of the year or something like that, where he's like, I really want another title run. I was like, okay, well, you're not going to get that. But like, okay, like, you could have, and maybe he just can't wrestle like he used to either. But like, even with Sting, like Sting's still out there doing what he's doing. Like, it makes no reason you couldn't have done something like that. But yeah, just I found that comical. He does look huge at this point too, and not he's gone through ups and downs, but he looks pretty cut at this point too, kind of working Kane.
I like this version of Kane's outfit. I don't know why. It's like a really strong red. I don't know if you noticed that or not, but
I was trying to see, is it like latex more than just like the cloth? Like it's got like a shine to it. I know.
Yeah, the red's just like really a really strong red. I just think this is like one of the best versions of his outfit, actually. And the black's really strong too. The colors are just really, they pop.
It's popping. Yep, absolutely.
Insecurity from Kane onto the Big Show.
Got boy,
British
moving
back in.
Jesus, had to get some elevation on that one, especially to hit the Big Show with it.
Kane's athleticism is completely underrated.
Yeah, Mayor Kane. Yeah, and we forget about that. Like he would move like the Undertaker. Like he was all over the board. Like he really it was that impressive. It was just laying out the Bulldog though.
You told me about these interviews with Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair recently. What was the name of that podcast?
I forget. It was with Theo Von. I forget what it was called.
Theo Von. He's a comedian.
He's a comedian. Yep.
Okay,
yeah.
I'd never heard of him or heard of his podcast. I listened to the Hogan one, and I'm probably 2/3 of the way through the Flair one. I mean, the Flair one, Flair, I kind of feel like we've heard all these stories and everything from him already. I thought the Hogan one was one of the better Hulk Hogan interviews. I don't. Maybe they just caught Hogan on a good day. I feel like there was less bullshitting than usual, and maybe he's just in a better place.
Yeah.
I don't know. What'd you think of both those? And then
I'm with you. I'm about 2/3. I'm about 2/3 through the Flair one. I think he's an interesting interviewer because he's a comedian by trade, and he is out there. He's got a vibe with how he does his comedy and stuff like that. I think Flair really enjoyed it. And they're both very he is a good interview, but it was not a great interviewer. He's a good interviewer because what he talks about, his limited knowledge of the business, it felt like too, but he still watched up growing it. And I just found it comical. Like him and Flair were joking dick jokes throughout the whole thing, but Hogan never bit on any of that. But yeah, I felt like I learned some stuff that I wasn't aware of. And I felt like Hogan was a little reserved, and I think that's why I texted you. Hogan felt reserved, or not reserved, but he felt like he was still protecting parts of the business. But then at the same time, he opened up about his life a lot more than I expected, especially his mom and his dad and stuff like that, and growing up.
Yes.
Yeah. And I thought that I had not heard some of those stories.
Me neither. Me neither. And I've heard most of the Hulk Hogan interviews over the last 10 or 20 years on podcast and various stuff. There's not much I've missed. Just as being a big mark, and I had never heard any of that.
Well, especially talking about his kids and how Nick and all them are bad, and just kind of doing all these different things. I think that it just set up really well. It's learned a lot. So this past weekend is the name of the podcast if you guys want to check it out. But yeah, and it doesn't just do wrestlers. It does all, but the Hogan one and the Flair one were pretty good. And so it really interesting. Just kind of, and they went an hour and a half or however long it was. Flair was 2 hours and they're still going at it. But it's Flair laughing at dick jokes and smoking CBD and shit throughout the whole time. But anyways, so yeah.
Did you watch
really
the video version?
I have not, no.
Oh,
and
okay.
so
yeah,
no, I've just been listening to it in the car. So we're up to Iowa now. You got Triple H and Mankind again, and so the other guys are still just standing in the corner. Get in the ring and brawl.
The quiet. Well, yeah. Why wouldn't everyone just go out there? So you got Mankind
trying to get a suplex here. Triple H reversing it. Yep.
Yeah, I just don't yeah, and then so you got the four guys. Okay, now here comes The Rock. All right, that kind of makes sense. There you go. Let's get all four of them out there and let's have ourselves a brawl. I mean, this is
Instead, we're going to stand around and do nothing.
yeah. I probably mentioned this before, but I think Hulk Hogan needs the Michael Jordan Last Dance, Undertaker Last Ride treatment. And I say that for a few reasons. I mean, whether you love him or hate him, he's
He's Hulk Hogan.
either the biggest or one of the biggest stars of all time. He's Babe Ruth, whatever analogy you want to use. So that right there deserves it. I also think that if I'm Hogan and I'm the WWE, I want to try to restore his image and standing. The reality is that he is a polarizing, sometimes unpopular person on social media. Now, social media isn't reflective of everyone. I understand that. And I think there's a lot of groupthink where it's like, oh, Hulk Hogan's a racist. So then everyone thinks he's a racist. Then everyone is mean about, but it's like, and again, I'm a Hulk Hogan mark. So you can say that I'm a Mark or a Homer or whatever. I just don't know if we need to completely cancel him and try to erase him and hate him for the rest of our life. I mean, it doesn't seem that he's an absolutely horrible person.
Mm-hmm. It's especially like shit. Look at Marty, like the stuff he posts online. Like he literally does it for God only knows why. And so, Hogan, the same thing. Like, he said something. I think, he does still to this day probably has some bridges that he needs to rebuild and stuff like that. But at the same time, like, I'm with like a lot of these guys. Like he will forever be and kind of has to be on the Mount Rushmore of wrestlers. Like, it's just how it is. And so, he is the GOAT in that way. I thought it was interesting during those interviews, like how much and we've heard it too, but like just how much they were talking about like the drug usage and stuff like that when a lot of it was legal then, and how they were doing that. And so, and I think it speaks to, I do kind of wonder, like, one of the trends I picked up on is especially some of the harder drugs, whether these guys weren't doing them as much or they just never really got tapped into it like to some other wrestlers. I think that somewhat speaks to the longevity of their careers.
You're talking about Hogan and Flair?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were never big pill guys, big coke guys. It seems like the
coke and Soma harder, and all those.
Sleeping pills. No, they drank beer. They drank every night.
Right. And I mean, Flair's still alive because it's a miracle, but like, who knows? But so you got all the refs coming down the ring now. Like,
because they're on strike.
Yeah, exactly. It's just super weird.
Malcolm Cadero. Kane makes the exchange.
Again, who doesn't want this as part of their storyline? It's just
500-pound big.
I mean, people are just very confused.
Everybody's on their feet, but nobody's saying like no. The crowd was silent when you just had it on. And again, we're still 1-on-1 with four guys in the corner. Like they haven't even devolved into madness yet. It's weird.
Yeah, I don't know why you wouldn't just have a brawl and do the one guy dives off the top and knocks them all out type thing. I mean, they're just all standing there.
Yep.
I just don't get this. I just don't understand.
Taking the beating. Yep.
Yeah. They really haven't done anything from a physical standpoint. They haven't done anything spectacular. I mean, at all. Mm-hmm. It's not like we haven't used the Spanish announce table or.
Right. He said the crowd, like the guys across from the hard cam are just like screwing around. They're not even watching the match. Like they're just kind of laughing with each other. Like, everybody's looking back at it. A couple guys looking back at them and stuff. It's just weird.
Yeah, this feels like a weird house show match.
Where was this again? Was this Charlotte? Yeah.
Charlotte. Yeah. Yeah. Just really, really odd.
Are all these guys Hall of Famers?
Big Show has not. Big Show is Bulldog is a Hall of Famer. They put
that's right. Yeah, that's right.
2020.
Big Show's the only one.
Kane was inducted.
Yeah.
Well, Rock's not a Hall of Famer yet. Triple H is not a Hall of Famer yet.
Okay, yeah. Well, they are, but they're not. Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, Big Show. I mean, I think they already put Mark Henry in. I don't think they put Big Show in yet, but so it's weird. Like, I mean, what are they? Would you know what Big Show and Mark Henry are doing with AEW?
I think it's weird because I don't even see their names pop up as like the recruiters or scouts.
Yeah.
Like you don't see them on the producer list very often. So I don't know if they're just maybe they are just coaches, which great. Like I'm sure they've got a lot to do.
Yeah, but I don't know if they're backstage at all the shows, or I have no idea what they're doing.
I don't either. Yeah. The Rock just stole Austin's beer, Steve Weiser and chugged it.
Yeah, this is like a house
all over his face. Yeah,
this is like a house show match, man. This is like so weird.
That's a good way to call it. It does feel like a house show match, like where you just get everybody out there. And again, we're 15 minutes into this one, and still and earlier, like you had guys tagging themselves in. You don't even see that right now. There you go. There's Big Show doing it.
He's going to work himself into a pile driver.
Yeah, tombstone. Right here.
Oh, he just did. Look at that. Saw it coming. I've been in there with that big strong guy. Here we go. That's it.
Well, wait a minute. I think Big Show's the legal man here. I don't think he is. I don't think it matters. No, I think a tag was made.
They don't even know the rules.
Oh, Big Show made the blind tag.
Take a big man to throw Kane out of the ring like that. Oh, here we go. Big Show said that's it.
Choke slam from Hillard. Kane. To the right left part of your screen. Kane up on top. What?
There you go.
Ooh, that was mistimed quite a bit. Yep. What a match. Is he watching a different match than us?
Bulldog.
They tagged him in.
Bulldog doesn't carry. A little cheap shot there.
Here we go. Now we're getting a little nutty.
Yeah, exactly.
Bulldog forgot his spot there. He was climbing out of the ring. And Triple H was waiting for him to give him a pedigree.
Cover somebody, Mankind.
He set up the Rock.
That damn sock.
All right, so we got some chaos now.
Finally.
Yeah.
Mr. Sacco getting pulled out here. He got him on the Rock. Yep.
The better part of 20 minutes to get to this point.
Right. That was like one off the top rope, and Kane and Big Show are both dead. Triple H, took like over the top rope, and he's done. Yeah. Got it locked in. Here comes a rock bottom.
He pulled that one out of the blue, man.
And he did. The Rock pulled out. That's going to be over right there. That's it. 1, 2, and
All right, now we're heating up a little bit.
Finally. Yeah, it took 15 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever it was.
Where are you all time on Triple H?
All time on Triple H, like I think that if you look at over the history of his characters and the evolution, I think that it tells an incredible story of someone who was like the anti-corporate, like, he was the upper class, and then he was the, degenerate, like, just wanted nothing to do with the corporate life, and then being the corporate life literally. And so, I just think that it was, and the refs pulling the refs out at this point.
Big Show would have won.
Yep. Oh boy. They're beating up Jimmy Corderas. Okay. Yeah, I think that he's got and you and I may have given like a Mount Rushmore for us, recently or in the past or whatever it was, but like for him, like there's just so many guys that I'm not sure who you would put in that because of their contributions. For me, like Triple H was definitely probably top 5, top 10, like no question. I think he has to be.
But Stone Cold took out all the refs.
Stone Cold has nailed senior official Earl Hebner. That's Timmy White. Timmy White, the fighting Irishman from the friendly tap, just got knocked down. And Triple H.
And Rock and Triple H still having a match.
The Rock, Bill, hey, that's a one to count. There's no one.
1, 2.
No, he says no. That's a 2 count. That's a 2 count.
that felt like a weird botch. Yep. It looked like Big Show was slow to get back in to break it up or something.
Cooking here. These other four fighting on the outside. Everybody in here thought they had a new champion. They thought The Rock had done it.
They're on their feet now.
Yeah. Well,
And so
you
now
got a vacant champion. You know you're going to see a title change of some sort. You got Rock and Triple H and Austin. Okay, here you go.
Rock bottom. The Rock bottom king. And you know what's next? Oh, I know.
Hits it clean.
It's the most electrifying move in sports entertainment today. The people's elbow from
Bulldog
the
looks gassed at the bottom of the screen.
Yeah.
Right here. The Rock got him. Found this mark. There's a cover. Hey, wait a minute. The Bulldog is, what the hell? The Dixonus pull Austin out.
That was
shot on the Rock.
Straight head. Oh, God.
Nails the pedigree on the Rock. And Austin, there's nothing Austin can do but count the three. Damn it. Triple H has done it, King. Triple H has done it.
The crowd not giving a shit. What a finish. Oh, boy.
All right, let's get into the aftermath.
Ho! It's time for the aftermath.
What'd you think?
Yuck. That was
Not good. Not good.
Something needed to happen and it didn't. And it made it for a not great match. Yeah.
The match wasn't good. The booking wasn't good. The rules in the match weren't good. No one really gave a shit about Triple H winning. Now Triple H is going to take a stunner. There you go.
The only way to send him home happy. Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess they'll get sent home happy because the guy that wasn't in the match is way more over than anyone that was in the match.
Right.
All right.
Took some beers, sent him home.
Then what happened after this?
Yeah, so this one was weird. So, of course, Triple H winning, I guess I say winning the six-pack challenge, if that's what you call it, for the vacant championship. That's how you crown a new champ when it's vacant. You had The Rock wrestling Triple H in a match for the title. It was actually on Raw at that point. It was a no contest because of interference by the Bulldog. So the Bulldog got a title match with Triple H on SmackDown, and then Rock was a special guest referee and ended up leaving the match. And so you had Bulldog with a heel run for a little bit on this one. He actually cost The Rock a match against Triple H. It was a steel cage match at Rebellion. So then you had The Rock and the Bulldog having a feud, and then you had Stone Cold becoming the number one contender, and then you had No Mercy. It was No Mercy, Triple H beating Austin in an anything goes match to retain the championship. Everybody else just kind of whatever. So that was just really weird. It's really the best way to put it. And so the rankings on this one: Big Show was 34, Bulldog wasn't ranked, Triple H 26, Kane 13, Mankind 19, The Rock 5. 3 stars from the Torch. The WWF sacrificed the quality of the pay-per-view by placing the majority of their top guys in the main event. The strategy seems to be that the main event is what sells the pay-per-view, but they should realize an action-packed 3-hour show will keep the viewers coming back. The WWF has taken all of the thrill out of title changes because they occur on a bi-monthly basis. Triple H has turned out to be a decent champ but needs a lengthy title reign with clean finishes over other top names. The Observer on this one: the main event has had enough booking swerves and good enough work by most of the participants, including Davey Boy Smith's best in-ring work in years. Not that it was good, but it was better than most expected and was worlds better than his WCW.
Was it really that much better? I mean, he's barely in the match. What
right,
did he do
I know.
that was that impressive?
To be a good but hardly memorable main event, Rock used the rock bottom and people's elbow. Show pulled Austin. Smith hit Rock with a chair. Austin then hit Smith with the chair, but Triple H used a pedigree. Begrudgingly counted the pin. Triple H got a stunner. 3.5 stars. So 3 and 3.5 stars. I'd say a little bit of a hot take on some of these. Yeah. So where are you going to rank this one for your score?
Dude, I mean, 3.
Yep.
The match
That's exactly
wasn't
what I was thinking.
good.
Yep.
The booking, nothing. Didn't make any sense. It's a 3. It's not worth watching. It was really, really bad. What about you?
Yeah, I was thinking 3. I'm gonna give it like a 2. Like it just wasn't what it should. With the names that were in the match, it should have never played out that way. And even if you like that could have been the way to do it, was like get rid of some of this other garbage on the match or on the card, and like just have these guys do 1-on-1 or do a 6-man tournament. Like don't do it like with this, like how they did it, because it just. And also, this is like you had one title change, which was the European at the start of the show, and then no other titles changed hands. So, it's just really weird. Like, yeah, not a good match to go back, and we would not recommend this one. Even like looking at it, you'd be like, man, look at those names, but yeah, not worth it.
Well, that's it.
Yeah.
Good to cover. Good one to cover. It's interesting.
Yeah, I'm glad we did. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Well, so do want to remind everybody, of course, make sure you're checking out our sponsors, manscaped.com, using our promo code payoff, and calderalabs.com using the promo code payoff there. Both stores, whether it's Manscaped or Caldera and Labs, you're getting 20% off, and Manscaped's also throwing you in there some free shipping. So please make sure to use our code payoff at both of those stores and get you some good stuff, whether it's some grooming tools or just some men's products to look your best. Yep.
Good. All right. Appreciate everyone joining us, and we'll see you next week on an all-new episode of The Payoff.